Ugh, finally. After waiting and waiting and waiting, it's finally here. Silent Night, Deadly Night versus My Bloody Valentine, or Valentine Bluff Massacre. But that's what it basically is. So this is a one-shot comic I talked about, and it was supposed to come out in December. Like, that was the initial release, but it kept getting delayed and delayed and delayed. And I honestly thought, like, we were never going to get the fucking book. Like, I genuinely thought we were never going to get the comic at all. Like, that's just what, that was just the thought process I had was, yeah, we're never getting this book. But, lo and behold, while I'm away on vacation, it released last week, and I finally had time to, like, go and pick it up. So, here we are with this comic. So this is basically a slasher, a battle of the C-list slashers, I should say. Where we have these two killers from Silent Night, Deadly Night, and My Bloody Valentine going at each other. This is also, I should mention, a American mythology comic, and they've done a lot of horror-centric books. And they also have some wild crossovers of their own, like Zorro in the land of Jules Verne, in like a Jules Verne kind of world. We also have The Three Stooges versus Cthulhu. That's a comic. They also have The Three Stooges meet Laurel and Harding. Some wild crossovers. So this was and they've done a lot of horror, like Return of the Living Dead, Night of the Living Dead. They're also doing Silent Night, Deadly Night, and My Bloody Valentine, which is being called Valentine Bluff Massacre. Which I don't know why they changed it. Maybe there's a legal reason. I don't know. What really got me interested in this comic was that it was going to be written, or should I say co-written, by James Corrick. I hope I'm saying that last name right. And that was the writer of another famous horror slasher, Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ash, which I really enjoy. It's a really solid book. As a horror fan, you just love it. So what did I think of this one-shot battle between these two killers? It happened. Like, it's cool that it happened. Let's actually, like, kind of dive into this. So the story basically begins with, it actually, like, for some reason, this isn't even, like, an oversized one-shot. It's a regular book. But half the book, the first few pages are focused on this cook who's going around killing kids who messed up his face. And then he's killed by a hunter of slashers. And then we get to the actual fucking story, which is Billy Chapman and Axel Palmer are locked up in this psychiatric ward, and they are basically trapped in there, and their doctor leaves on vacation, and you already know what's going to happen. The doctor is the slasher hunter, and he basically manipulates excuse me. He basically manipulates a situation where Billy and Axel get into a fight. Now, a couple things. One of the big problems is with, especially on the Silent Night, Deadly Night version. Yeah, Billy's dead. Billy dies at the end. This would have made more sense if it was his brother Ricky. Like, that would have made more sense. He lived for two more movies. He lived for parts 2 and 3. So yeah, Axel was a cool idea, but I was kind of hoping it was like Harry Warden. Like, this is a lost story with Harry. But yeah, Axel's here, and he still has the one arm. So this is after, My Bloody Valentine. If anyone is reading the comics, like, if you were reading the Valentine Bluff Massacre and Silent Night, Deadly Night comics, this doesn't follow that continuity, which, from what I understand from my friend Jason, the continuity there is pretty fucking wild. So yeah. Also, I understand that artists can't really make the faces like the artist, for rights, they can't make the actor's face look too similar to the actor. But as I recall, Billy was dark-haired. He wasn't blonde. Ricky was the blonde, and it was Axel who was blonde. So I felt like boy, I hope someone got fired for that blunder. Just to quote Simpsons right there. But what did I think of the fight in general? Like, when we get to the fight where the doctor their psychiatrist gets Billy and Axel to fight. The fight's actually pretty solid, but I feel like the comic itself is overcomplicated. And also, like, if the doctor's hunting slashers after a slasher killed his family, Why does he care about murdering his own staff and also manipulating a situation where Billy and Axel get into a fight? Like, what does that accomplish? Like, what is that really? I feel like you could have just had a comic with just Billy and Axel getting into a fight at a mental ward, which that's what it was pitched as. I feel like we overcomplicated it for a simple one-shot book. Because, yeah, the whole thing is supposed to be that, oh, the Doctor's just as evil as them. That doesn't really translate well, honestly. It doesn't translate at all in this. Also, Billy doesn't feel like Billy. Like he's singing fa la 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 la. He's like singing Christmas songs. And I'm like, yeah, he never did that. All he did was when he had his psychotic break was punish and naughty, which he does do, but I'm like, I feel like there was some problems here. And Axel barely talks. Like, Axel at no point really, like, has a major conversation. It's not god-awful. But it's not great. It's not even, like, I feel like I spent a little too much on this, and this was $5. Like, I feel like this should have been like $3.99 at best, but yeah, I feel like it was overcomplicated for what we have. The fight's good, but there are so many continuity errors, and the story's kind of just kind of a mess. It feels like a condensed version. I feel like if Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ash was just condensed more, this has all the wrong, like a lot of the wrong problems that Freddy vs. Jason had, which as much as I love that crossover, it did have a lot of problems, but I think the fun and also the fact it got 6 issues was pretty good. I feel like this should have been at least a 3-parter. Like, I know American Mythology likes to do, like, 4-issue miniseries. I feel like this should have been a 4-issue story rather than a one-and-done. Like, it should have been allowed to, like, grow, like, do more. I would have been more okay with maybe with the psychiatrist being a hunter of slashers and, you know, more of the story, but it feels like we just end this story way too fast. So maybe it could have done with maybe being a miniseries rather than a one-shot. So that's kind of, I would say, if you're a diehard fan of these two franchises, give it a look, but I'm just going to say, skip. Just a skip. But you guys tell me in the comments below, what did you guys think of it? If you read this crossover, let me know in the comments below. Other than that, hope y'all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.